I like the way you start, Scott.
Hello, 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 everyone. It's Scotty T, and I have a fantastic comedian, writer, actor, and people tell me he's a really nice guy. Sal Demilio is here.
What's going on, you guys? How you doing, Scott?
I'm doing good, Sal. It's nice to meet you, sir.
Good. Nice to meet you as well. I'm glad to be on
Yeah,
your
yeah,
show,
I hear a
buddy.
lot of good things,
I hope so.
but I'm going to hold out judgment until the end. It's like I told you. So let's start now. Are you in Michigan?
I do. I live in Livonia, Michigan right now, just outside of Detroit,
Okay.
and been living here for a few years with my old man, and I talk a little bit about that in my act, and so it's great. I'm in the same house that I grew up in when I was in high school, so things are going well for me.
Do you were
Being
you born
sarcastic.
were you born and raised in Michigan?
No, no. I was born in Vevey, Switzerland, and I lived in Italy till I was 3 years old, and then
Okay.
we moved to New York. Yeah,
Okay.
so I'm an immigrant,
Okay. Yeah, I
legalized
saw
immigrant.
that on your Facebook page. The if you wash more than once a week, that'll clear up whatever you got going on there. Uh no, I saw that Switzerland and I thought, man, I wonder if that's correct. So you were actually born in Switzerland, then Italy, and then came to the States.
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, I was born in Vevey, Switzerland, where if you know anything about Charlie Chaplin, he made his home in Vevey, Switzerland when he wasn't living
Okay.
in the United States. He
Okay.
spent probably 30 or 40 years there, which is kind of ironic because I became a comedian. And so, yeah, I was born in a very famous town that Charlie Chaplin made famous.
Okay. Um You've been doing comedy for over 20 years, and I know the story, but for people that don't, tell them how it started, how it came about.
I took a comedy class at Mark Ridley's Castle here in Royal Oak, and took it with a comedy friend of mine named Bill Bushart, who also is still doing comedy.
Okay.
And I took a class there. And back when I started in the late '90s, there was a lot more opportunities than there are now. There's so many comics now. We could have a whole other podcast about that. But so there was a lot of opportunities for people like myself that just started in '97, took a couple classes, and then had a good 10, 15 minutes so you could host and be an MC at all the comedy clubs and like all the ones that I started at. They're all closed now. They're all
All
done.
right.
The connections in Toledo, connections in Lansing,
Okay.
Chaplin's, Joey's Comedy Club. They're all closed. That's where I started. So I was given a lot of opportunities early on to kind of get going, so to speak.
Okay. So it started with a comedy class, and then you just ran with it from there.
Yep, just started hosting, doing open mics. I had a day job at the same time.
All right.
So I was, doing both, kind of working during the day, and then I would find a comedy club at night to go try some
Okay.
stuff. And yeah, that's how it all got started, and then
All right.
kept
Yeah.
going from that.
Ever get in trouble in school because their teachers couldn't tell their parents what the hell they did wrong? You know what I mean? This is a true story. One time I was in my mom's kitchen, man. She's cooking up a big meal, and she's on the phone with one of my teachers and talking to him for like 10 minutes. She hangs up the phone in Italian. She's like, "What the hell that guy want?" I go, "Oh, Ma, he just wanted to tell you I am the greatest dodgeball player Bentley High School has ever seen. I'm going to make the Michigan team next year, Mom. I'm going to make you proud."
Comedians that inspired you when you were young, and comedians that you like today.
The ones that inspired me are like Rodney Dangerfield.
I tell
Uh,
you, it's rough.
yeah,
I met
just
Rodney.
one of
I,
the best.
I
Yeah,
met
did you
Rodney.
really? That's
Yeah.
great. I never got to meet him, but I would literally when I would, and back then there was obviously no internet. I would read in the paper that Rodney was doing a set on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, and I
Yeah,
love the
that's what
Tonight.
I heard. It was Tonight
Yeah,
Show, and you'd stay up late to watch the comics.
yeah, and that's how I found my love for Rodney and George Carlin and Richard Pryor, and but I had never thought about doing comedy back then. I was just a fan of it, and but that kind of prepared me for later on when I did try it. But those were my favorites back then. Bray Romano. Now the guys working today that are just really really good. Guys like Louis C.K.,
Yeah.
Brian Regan. Mark Norman, Sam Morrill. These guys
Okay.
are just really, really doing it at a high level, and they're
Right.
inspirational for me. So,
What about Adam Minnick? Do you like him?
who? Adam Minnick? Are you kidding me? Dude's funny as heck, man.
I'm just playing. I'm just
Yeah,
playing.
but he's a funny guy,
We'll
man.
get to Adam at the end.
Yeah, I like
I'm
Adam.
just playing. Besides doing stand up in bars and stuff, at comedy clubs, you do corporate events and cruise ships,
Yes.
right? And I was just
Yep.
wondering, which do you prefer?
I tell you what, in this position I am today, I'm more familiar and I'm more comfortable on the comedy club side and maybe the one-nighter bar
Right,
situation
right.
side, just because I've been doing it so long. But I'm really, really digging the cruise ships comedy shows right now. I'm getting my feet wet at them. I did about 7 cruises last year.
Okay,
And I'm just starting to get used to them. They're really fun. People are on vacation, so they're in a good mood. But it's a different animal. They're not paying. They're paying because they're paying to get on the ship, but they're not paying to come see you that night that they come see you. So you've got to really win these people over,
okay.
And so it's a challenge. You got to do different material every show.
Right.
So it's a challenge in that regard. But I'm having a blast. I'm having literally a blast.
Yeah. Well, and I could be wrong here, but I mean, I have Francis D. Lorenzo, Lester Bibbs. I know a lot of people, Jesse Egan, that do cruise ships and stuff. And the corporate events and cruise ships, you get a lot more money than doing the clubs.
Yes, yes. Corporate shows as well
Right.
are a little more of the paycheck and not really about
Yeah,
the about the
that would
craft.
inspire me a little bit more. Then
Yeah.
again, what do I know? You have an open bar special called "I'm Not Folding, I'm All In."
Yes, that's my open bar comedy special that I released last year, and it's gotten a lot of views, which I'm really happy about. I also had a new album that came out in 2025 called "Say Hello to My Little Jokes," which is a reference to Scarface,
Yeah, say hello
which
to
is
my
one of
little
my
friend.
favorite movies growing up. So
Right.
kind of threw that title in there, and I recorded that out at a comedy club called the Underground Laugh Lounge in Niles, Michigan. So yeah,
Okay.
those two things came out for me in 2025, and really proud of both of them.
Okay. Yeah, I had a couple people on that have done those open bar specials, and they seem like they're really getting some traction.
Yeah, they really are. The guy that runs it is doing a really, really nice job,
Yeah.
competing with obviously the dry bar.
Dry bar. Yeah.
Yeah. But they're both great. Dry bar is great and
Yeah.
open bar is great.
Well, I think
Nowadays you can
I
yeah,
think
go
there's
ahead.
one difference.
What's that?
But don't try swearing on the dry bar.
Yeah, no, exactly. They're more the cleaner side, and open bar you can kind of do what you want. So,
Exactly.
both genres are good.
Right.
One time I almost got caught. I got expelled from school. Me and a bunch of football players, we got expelled from school. And we had to go down to the principal's office, and the principal had to call our parents. All these football players are next to me, and the principal's like, I have to call all your parents. These football players are shitting their pants. I'm like, can I listen on the other end when you try to tell my mom and dad that I threw eggs at the homecoming floats? They don't know what any of that shit is. Principal's trying to tell my dad that we threw eggs at the homecoming float. My dad asked him if it was a frittade. My dad asked the principal if we threw omelets at the homecoming floats. Yeah, Dad, we had an omelet guy next to us with the big hat. Let's go. Flip the onions in there. Let's go. The freshman float's going by. Let's go.
You've also done some acting, I saw. Do you
I
enjoy doing
did.
that? Do you enjoy doing that, the acting?
I do. I wish I could do more of it. I should
That was
probably
my next question.
try to put myself out there a little bit more in that regard. I'm so busy on the stand-up side,
Yeah.
trying to pay the bills. It's tough to kind of go do something
Yeah.
that you love and not really make money at it. But I love acting. I got to do a movie called Intent with Eric Roberts, and that was just a thrill for me. The movie never came out, unfortunately, or it hasn't yet.
I heard that a lot. I
But
hear that a lot.
yeah, but it was a really, really just an unbelievable experience to do a pretty long interrogation scene in front of Eric Roberts, who's one of the greatest actors of our time.
Sure,
So that was a
sure.
real big thrill. So
Okay. So you do enjoy the acting and you wouldn't mind doing more
Y-
of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Totally different though, right? Because with the acting, you got to wait. Like I just had Sean Ruiz on Mr. Rue, and
Yeah.
he'll go and he don't even know if he gets in or they cut or you just see his feet or
Yeah, no, it's definitely a different experience. It's funny you say that because when I did my scene with Eric Roberts, it was such a close interrogation scene that we were inside this little, almost like a cubicle office to make it seem like it was like, one of those interrogation scenes where the cops are questioning you. But none of the cast, none of the video people, or the sound and all that, they weren't in the room with us. They were on the outside of the room. So in our room was just me, Eric Roberts, and two cameras. Uh, and I'm doing, like you just said, I'm doing my scene and I'm not really good. I'm not really sure how well it's going. And then me and him did it like 20 times. We come out of the little room we were in, and all the sound people and everybody that was working on the film, they're all clapping. So to what you just said, I didn't get my response from the audience in that scene until after we were done.
right.
Where on stand up, you're getting response right away, and that's what
Instantaneous,
I'm
right,
used
right,
to,
right.
So
You've toured all over, and I know you performed all over. I wrote down a couple here. Louis Anderson, you opened or toured with Louis Anderson, Kathleen Madigan, just to name a few. And I was wondering if you have any stories there or favorite memories of like Louis. I believe it or not, a lot of people always call me. They say, "Is that Louis Anderson?" They call me Louis Anderson.
yeah, yeah, you kind of do resemble him a
I've
little
had
bit.
that. I
Yeah,
had a guest on here say I was Louis Anderson.
yeah, you
And
really do.
I always
You
say
really
he's
do.
dead. He's dead. But
Well,
yeah, I mean, I wondered like with Kathleen or, do you have some memories as far as, fond memories or
yeah, well, I know we're doing something at the end of your show, um, where I'm going to tell two stories, and one of them is going to be uh, with Louis Anderson. So I'll tell that later.
okay, all
But
right.
one of the really cool kind of big stars I opened up for Lewis Black back
Oh,
in the
Lou, I
probably
met
about
Lou. I love
yeah,
Lou. I met Lou in Vegas.
literally one of the nicest guys I've ever met. I emceed for him. And after my set, I had only did 10 minutes. I was actually the MC. So there was another comedian after me that was going up before him.
Yeah.
And I hadn't met him yet that particular night. He hadn't come in yet. So already went up on stage and was doing my set. I get out of Ridley's has that back hallway where you leave the stage. And as soon as I left the stage, I called up the feature act. I come in that hallway and Lewis Black is standing there with a pad, like a little small little pad and a pen. And he's like, "Hey, I really loved your set. I wrote down a couple of tags on two of your jokes." And I was just flawed. I mean, I was just floored. I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, I mean, the
Yeah.
guy didn't need to watch my set. He didn't need to,
Yeah.
do that. And he just did it. And it was just, I had a great weekend with him. And I'd actually worked with him twice. I worked with him at Mark Ridley's, and then like years later, ended up working with him at the Comedy Cabana down in Myrtle Beach. And at that time, we went golfing with the one of the guys that ran the club, and then this other comedian or whatever. So we all went golfing, and I remember him telling his agent had called him, and it was just before he was starting to do like the Comedy Central thing. So he was already a big, big name in comedy, but he kind of catapulted to even another level after his Comedy Central, The Daily Show. Um, and he told his agent was on the phone with him, telling him that he shouldn't do these small little clubs anymore. And he told his agent, he goes, "I've been doing the Comedy Cabana for as long as I remember. They're the only club that gave me a shot when I was a nobody. And if you don't want me doing this club anymore, you're not going to be my agent anymore." That's what he told his agent. So it's really
Yeah.
cool to hear him say that.
Yeah.
To not forget, where he came from. Now he's doing theaters and he's not doing those small clubs anymore. This was probably 15, 20 years ago when
Yeah.
he made this comment to his agent. But now he's probably not doing the small comedy clubs anymore. Now he's
Yeah.
kind of on another level. But great guy. Just really, really. really good guy. And not all big time celebrities are fun to hang out with, and he was one of them, you know.
Do you have advice for comedians that are just starting out? Because obviously we've touched on, and you've been doing it over 20 years. So what about
Yeah.
comedians just starting out? Like I was on with Adam. We mentioned Adam, and Adam had some great advice that's coming up. I'm going to air it in the next week or so. But I was just wondering if you have advice for new comedians starting out.
You know, I was told I asked comedians when I worked with them, you know, I did a lot of MCing back in the day, like I told you about at Joey's Comedy Club and Mark Ridley's. And I would always one thing I would say is watch other comedians. If you're just starting out, watch other comedians. I see a lot of these younger comics now. They'll go into the comedy club, they'll do their set, and then they like go out in the parking lot and chit chat with other people when there's other comedians on stage, like better comedians than you. I don't understand why people don't go watch professional, like especially if you're starting out, go watch how these pros are doing it, how they just react to an audience member heckling them or whatever the case may be. I don't understand why younger comics don't watch
Right.
comedy more. So I would say if you're a younger comic, go watch it more and just get up and do sets as much as you can. I remember opening up for Nick DiPaolo, and I was asking him, I was like, hey man, how do I get better at this? Go up on stage, do an open mic, do a coffee shop, whatever you got to do. The more sets you can do, the better you're going to get at this. To
Okay.
just sit and write in your apartment and say, oh, I wrote an hour's worth of material, but you're not trying it on stage, it doesn't do nothing. It does you no good to not try that material out. So I would say that get up on stage as much as you can.
Mr. Demilio, your son's been expelled from school. My dad's like, oh, he's an excellent speller. That's so great. He spelled cappuccino perfectly when he was 7 years old. Mr. Demilio, we're sending your son home from school. My dad's like, oh, good, because we're pouring a driveway tomorrow. We need an extra wheelbarrow guy. Get Salvatore home. His mom's got meatballs on the stove. He's had a good Italian mother that wanted to feed me 24/7. That's why I look the way I do, because I'm still eating her cookies that's been frozen for 17 years. Well, Italians will get that. I don't know. That's all she did. What do you want to eat? That's all I ever heard my whole life. What do you want out of my mom's mouth? What do you want to eat? I could have been the worst kid in the world growing up. You know what I mean? I could have came in the house, Ma, Maria's pregnant. I got caught with drugs. I got expelled from school. I crashed Dad's car. My mom would be in the kitchen. Do you want the penny pasta tonight, or should I make the bow tie ones that you like? I'd always be like, make the bow tie ones. I'll wear one to court next week. Thanks a lot, Mom. You're the best.
You mentioned writing there, and I'm just curious also about the writing process for you.
There's so many different, and I love hearing other people. I just heard Louis C.K. about. I follow him on social media, and he was I forgot who he was talking with, but he doesn't write anything down, and I just find that so amazing because he's such a good comedian, and he doesn't write nothing down. Where guys like Jay Leno write every single thing down. So I'm a little more like Jay. I like to write everything down. I mean, just within reach here, this is just a
There you
bunch
go.
of stuff that I
That's
got
good there.
written
Stay
down.
stay there. There.
Yeah.
You look really good there in the center. You're right in the center there. That's good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sorry
no,
about that.
no, that's all right. No, no.
But I just write everything down that I think is funny, even if it's not a joke yet, a line or something happens to me. I just write it down. I just try. I never used to do that, and I would forget. I'd be like, oh shoot, I forgot that idea that I had. Now, there you go.
that's you.
Just write
That's
it
just
down.
you. That's just for you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm the same way. I got legal pads all over the place. I like the little yellow legal pads,
Yeah, I have
and I
tons
could
of
I could stick them in my back pocket. They're not the big ones.
right. Yeah, yeah.
And but yeah, I just write a lot of things down and then take it to the stage, take it to the stage and try it out. So, but I love it. I used to never like write new material. I was always afraid and not afraid, but just rejection and maybe the bit would suck. But then later on, as you start doing this more, you just start realizing it's not worth it to hold that back. You might as well try it because so much can come out of trying a new idea and it turns into something good. And
Well,
you'll
now,
never know unless you try it.
well, I'll cut this out if I need to. Okay. because I saw something right before we came on.
Okay.
And I'm one of those guys that, obviously I write different things, but I see things on the news.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like you did a bit about Katy Perry, I
Yeah.
think, right? Okay. And again, I'll cut this out, but there's just little things. I'm like Lou that way. Lewis Black gets me going.
Yeah.
And right before we came on, I was eating my lunch, trying to get a little something in my stomach before we did this interview. And maybe a year or so ago, I got wound up over Blind Barbie. They released a Blind Barbie, and
All right.
that upset me. That upset me. But now today, just a few hours ago, honest Sal, I can't make it up this good. Autistic Barbie. They're releasing an Autistic Barbie.
All right. And this is serious? Or are you joking?
I'm telling you, 100. I even
I mean,
posted it on Facebook.
there's nothing
Autistic
funny.
Barbie.
Yeah, there's nothing funny about an autistic person, but come on, you've got to find there's humor
That's what
in
I'm
an
telling
autistic
you.
Barbie. I mean, you can't help it. That's why being a comedian these days are great because I feel like this world is
Because
just going cuckoo,
in the time I was sitting here waiting for it to start, I thought of couldn't you just take a regular Barbie and smack it a few times? you know?
There you go.
I mean, it's just this is the material. There, that's yours. You can have that.
Yeah, well,
Autistic Barbie.
and with the blind Barbie next to it, that's perfect.
Well, the blind Barbie came with a little CNI dog. I'm sorry. This thing really went off the rails, didn't it?
They're gonna have an old man Ken doll now where he's gonna be wearing a CPAP machine. So just
comes
get
with
ready for
little
that.
comes with little Viagra pills. This is what I'm
That's
going to pull
funny.
out of my butt here. I'm going to see. I understand you really like to cook.
No, I do not like to cook. I like to eat. I know you're joking.
See, I had a problem with like TV dinners and stuff.
Oh, I still eat them. I love them. There's so many of them though. There's
Right.
like different brands. I can't take it. I don't know if are you a single guy, Scott, too? You
Oh yeah,
married?
yeah, yeah. I was
Yeah, so
married
you
before. I'm married now. I was married before. I'm single now.
okay, so you gotta feed yourself. So sometimes you get those and they're just all different. You ever notice that the
Yeah.
directions are different? I don't know why some of them you have to cut the film, the others you don't have to cut the film.
Right.
That's confusing to me. Like, what if you cut the film and you weren't supposed to?
Right.
Is the Salisbury steak going to be moldy or something? So those things crack me up. And the one I'm eating now is lean cuisine. Like, do I? It's embarrassing when I give it to the cashier, lean cuisine. They should have one for me, like obese caprice or something.
Right. Right. Well, I guess the reason I brought that up is because, like, I'll make up macaroni and cheese dinner, and no matter how many times I've made it, I'm always looking at the box. It's a
Yeah.
cup and a half of water.
Yeah, you got it. Exactly. It's like I read the directions like I'm studying for my SAT test.
Right. I
It
did.
is
I did figure
crazy.
out that according to the box, I'm a family of four.
Yeah, me too. I'm a family of eight, buddy.
Yeah, I'm telling you the truth. Oh my gosh. Um, Detroit Red Wings, Detroit Lions.
Big sports fan. Big
I
sports
know.
fan ever since I moved to Detroit. I'm a New York. So my sports history is I was a New York Mets fan when I was a kid, when I was like
Okay.
10 years old. Huge New York Mets fan. Loved the New York Mets. And then in 1977, I think it's 77, Reggie Jackson hit 3 home runs in the World Series. And I became a Reggie Jackson fan. I became a New York Yankees fan. I hated the Mets after that. And I
Okay.
went I went and found the New York Yankees. But then I moved to Detroit in 1979 and I kind of just got acclimated to the Tigers. I just started
Okay.
watching them, so I became a Tigers fan. I've been a Tigers fan for 40 something years. Obviously, they won it in 84.
Yeah.
Yankees have won it many times since, so I kind of cheer for both of them.
Right.
And then the beloved Lions. I've been a Lions fan,
Oh man, broke my
you
heart
know.
this year. Broke
Yeah,
my
they really
heart.
did. But I love sports.
Yeah.
I'm not the hugest hockey fan in the world, but I've my friends growing up have been hockey fans, so I kind of
Okay.
like the sport just for that. But my favorite sports baseball, basketball, and football. Yeah.
Okay. No, I just saw on Facebook you had done something for one of the Red Wings guys, I think, right?
Yeah, Darren McCarty, I've opened up for
Yeah.
him a couple times where he tells his stories and stuff, and
Okay.
it's really a lot of fun. Yeah,
Right.
I
Yeah.
just did that in December. It's a blast. He's such a good dude, and he tells these great stories and stuff, and it's a fun hour listening to him, you know.
Yeah. Um, I did want to, and the Lions, as far as the Lions, I didn't know if you caught that. Broke my heart this year.
Yeah, they just had a lot of injuries, you know. Injuries are
Yeah.
part of the game. People don't realize we had a lot of injuries again.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's like I was just talking to my buddy about it. I don't know if that's like our conditioning coach or something to do with our training, but we had
Yeah.
a lot of guys get hurt, and you kind of got to take a look at that to see why that's happening to our team. And it happens to every team, but
Yeah.
we really had a lot of injuries this year that there was no way we're going to overcome.
Yeah. I'm an Eagles fan and I'm still scratching my head about what happened.
Oh my God, I
No,
can't believe
I
that.
actually, you may laugh at this, maybe not. I'm actually glad we lost yesterday.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I know that
why?
sounds ridiculous. I just knew we weren't that good. And
Well,
to
it's
me,
first of all,
it's
it's
like,
tough to repeat. It's
well,
so
but
tough.
it's like why I was thinking of the analogy last night. It's like going out with someone and you know you're going to break up. You know you really don't like her, but you still go out again. You go out again. You know it's not going to work. And I knew the Eagles weren't going to make it. So I thought
Yeah,
instead of winning yesterday, just lose. Don't
yeah.
make me go through another week of this bullshit. Don't make me go through another
That
week.
was a tough game, and
Oh
they
no,
could have
I
easily won that game. They could have
they pissed
easily
me
won
off
that
so
game.
bad. They pissed me off so bad.
Yeah, I think the Rams are going to be the team in the NFC. Although you never know. It's what the Rams in Frisco now,
It's, Seattle. Seattle looks good.
and
Well,
Seattle
enough of
looks
the
really good
sports and
too.
enough of everything. I do want to, we'll let you get going here shortly, but I want to make sure we cover everything. If you have something, I do want to mention Adam Minnick again because Adam's the one that set this up. And I tried to get some dirt from him. And he actually, believe it or not, Sal, this is true. He said to me, I sent him the message yesterday before the football games because he's a big Bengals fan. And he said,
Okay.
let me think about it. Let me see if I can get back to you. So it got to be this morning. I'm like, Adam, do you have anything? He's like, I got nothing. He's just a nice guy. I was like, "Psh, what am I going to do with that? I need some dirt. I need some dirt.
I have an Adam Minnick story. So this has got to be. He was a young guy, and I think he had just kind of started to do open mics and stuff. I think he
Yeah.
was just getting going, and I was at the Indianapolis Crackers in Indianapolis,
Okay.
and it was in between shows. It was like a Friday night. I had just met him on Facebook, kind of thing, so I really didn't know him personally. And all of a sudden, like I'm in the green room, the place is packed. We're getting ready to do a show, and the MC comes out. He's like, "Hey, there's some guy in the lobby like asking for you." I really didn't know too many people in Indianapolis at the time, like friends and stuff. So I'm like, "Wow, who the hell could this be?" So I make my way through the crowd a little bit. I go outside, and it was Adam Minnick, and he goes, "Hey, man, I just stopped by to see the show and say hi. I wanted to personally meet you and seeing if you could put in a good word for me here with the club owner." And I ended up introducing him to the club owner. And the reason I bring this up is Adam is one of those guys that has been has been working real hard to get into these clubs. And that's some of the things you got to do is you got to go hang out at the club and try to
Yeah.
get a guest set or meet a comic that might introduce you to somebody. And that's how this business is. And, that was really cool. And to come out and just meet me, introduce himself to me and say, "Hey, we've been communicating on Facebook, but now I wanted to meet you in person." That was really cool, man. We hung out a little bit in the green room. I brought him back, introduced him to the other comic, and now look at him. He's working all over the place,
Yeah.
and he's kicking butt out there. So yeah, just a good dude, man. Good,
He's a
funny dude.
great guy
Yeah,
like yourself. Even though,
yeah.
and I'll tell you what, we don't even have to wait to the end. You're a good guy. I like you. I
Thanks
mean
a
it. You're
lot,
really
Scott. You
cool.
too, man.
No, and you don't know this. We never met. People don't know. We just met 20 minutes ago.
Yep, that's
But I
true.
worked in the music business, and it's the same way. You treat
Okay,
people right, good things happen to you. You get to know certain people. You know,
you're
I got to
right.
meet Rick Nielsen from Cheap Trick. Then I met Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top. From this one to that one, Ringo Starr. I mean, it
Wow, that's
just
cool,
I've
dude.
been blessed in my life. And
Yeah.
I would say 90% of that came because of the way I treated people and people liked me. And hey, get to know Scotty. Did you meet Scotty?
Yes. Yes. Because if
That's
you're a jerk, then people aren't gonna
oh yeah, yeah,
do
yeah,
anything
sure.
for you, right?
Yeah.
And or remember you and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So
Tried to go on a diet program. That doesn't work very well for me. I can't do diet. I did Nutrisystem during the lockdown. I don't know if anybody's ever tried that one. Here's the only problem with it: they send you 30 days of food all at once. You know what I mean? Like, do I look like the kind of guy that can ration off food like a chipmunk every day? Like, the size of the meal, they give you meals that are like the size of like those continental breakfast cereal bowls, at the Hampton. You're supposed to eat 3 of those in one day. Yeah, okay, that's what I'm going to do, Mr. Nutrisystem. I was eating 3 for breakfast, 3 for lunch, 3 for snacks, 4 for dinner. By day 7, I was out of food. I'm like, what the hell am I going to do for the next 23 days? You can't send me 30 days of food. I don't even own a chip clip because I've never not finished a bag of chips in my entire life.
appreciate it, and it's nice
We
that
got
you're the
one
same
more little
way.
piece of business. You said you got a couple stories for me, so let me do a formal introduction, and you can go as long as you want and do whatever you want. Sal Demilio. Did I say it right? Sal Demilio.
Yes.
Your comedy
Yes.
minute.
All
Go
right.
ahead,
I
Sal.
tell you what, I'm going to tell 2 stories,
Okay.
and then I'm going to tell a brand new joke
Okay. Go ahead.
that I wrote today, and
Okay.
I'll try it later. It'll be the first time
Okay.
ever done. Anyway, my 2 stories, because we were talking off air. I want to tell you my one of my best comedy gigs, and then one of my worst comedy gigs.
Okay.
Um, One of my best comedy gigs. I'll do the worst one first.
Whatever you
So
want.
you mentioned it earlier. I've done a lot of corporate shows. One of the shows sometimes you have to do are golf outings,
Right.
where everybody golfs during the day, and then at night they do a comedy show for everybody that golfed. Everybody has dinner, and then you kind of got to go up after that. Well, you live in Philadelphia.
Just that, yeah, I'm in Pennsylvania.
Okay. So for people listening this that know Detroit, there used to be a DJ, very famous DJ in town here, and his name was Mark Andrews, and he passed away unfortunately. He was a little person. I don't want to use the wrong term these days.
Yeah.
You
Right.
can't. I guess you can't use midget anymore, but he's a little person, and very famous, and he's on the radio. And I'm doing this gig, and it's for actually Mark Ridley from Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle, and we were playing golf, and he goes, "Hey, by the way, Mark Andrews and a lot of his friends are going to be at the show tonight, so you can't do don't do any midget jokes or anything like that." I just kind of looked at him. I said, I don't have any of those kind of jokes in my act. I
Right.
don't even have to
Right.
worry about it. So we finished the round. Everybody's done eating. There's probably 300 people in this thing. And Mark Andrews is sitting in the front row with a bunch of his friends. And I started doing my act. And this was when I was young. I used to do this joke when I was young that I have an Italian mother. And when I was 25 and single, she wanted me to marry an Italian girl so bad. But then I was in my late 30s and I wasn't still married. So my mom didn't care if I brought home an albino dwarf, and that's the joke. And I just didn't even think about it being a little person joke. So I spit that joke out, and as I'm saying it, I know what I'm doing, and I'm like, and in my back of my mind, I'm like, oh fuck, like I just told when Mark told me not to tell.
Albino dwarf.
And Mark Andrews is in the front row again with like 30 other little people around him. And he raises his hand. The crowd really doesn't laugh. They didn't really laugh. Some of the people laughed. But Mark Andrews holds up his hand and he goes, I know an albino dwarf, meaning I know an albino dwarf that you can date, which was hilarious. And it kind of turned the moment around, and it kind of made it okay to tell that joke at that moment because everybody laughed at his response. So that was kind of an embarrassing moment. And I used to
Okay.
tell the joke on stage, and I'd be like, I felt this tall after I said the joke, and all that kind of
Okay.
stuff.
Do the favorite. Do the favorite. We're gonna run out of time. Do the favorite.
Okay. So my favorite story is we mentioned him earlier. I got a chance to open up for Louis Anderson,
Right.
and Louis Anderson was just so great. I opened up for him at the Opera House in Traverse City. Didn't meet him until 5 minutes before I was going up on stage, and he's like, go over your act real quick. And I'm like, I sent you my video. He's like, yeah, well, just go over the bullet points of your set. So I start naming all my bullet points, and I came up to mom, and he goes, don't do your mom jokes. I talk about my mom the whole set, you know. So I said, no problem, Louie. I won't do any mom jokes. Literally went out on stage, did about 15, 20 minutes. Before the show, he had told me to just walk off the stage after you introduce me. Don't wait for me because it takes me so long to get to the stage or to get to the mic. So I said, no problem. I do my 15 minutes. Probably had one of the best sets I've ever had literally in my entire life with his
Right.
audience. And I walk off stage. He gets to the mic and he goes, hey, come back, Sal. That was great. And he makes me come all the way back to him, puts his arm around me, and he just tells his audience, he goes, wasn't this guy great? And then just treating me like a king. And then after the show, gives me his number. He goes, hey, I really like your Italian stuff, and I want you to call me in a couple weeks. I want to go over some stuff with you. So I didn't think twice about it. I'm like, should I call him? And one Sunday morning, I'm sitting having coffee out on my balcony. I just said, hell with it. I'm calling him. So I call him at 9 a.m. and he's like, hey, it's 6 a.m. Vegas time. Call me like in a couple hours. And anyway, long story short, I ended up talking to him for like an hour, and it ended up being the last time I talked to him because a couple years later he passed away. But
Yeah.
one of the best to ever do it, and
Yeah.
that's probably my greatest
Sure.
comedy accomplishment was opening up for
Absolutely.
him. So.
Said you got a new joke you want to try. Go ahead.
So I worked New Year's Eve. I was on a cruise ship, and they did the celebration. Then I wanted to go back to my cabin and watch the ball drop in New York because that's like one of my favorite things to do every year. I
Right.
like to watch the ball, but they changed it because they got a Middle Eastern mayor for the first time ever in the city of New York. Mamdani won, so they did a little different ball drop this year because of him. It was just a big giant chickpea, and it went into a bowl of hummus. So that was the new, brand new joke, never been told
There you
except
go.
on the Comedy Minute.
I know there'll be a lot of people that'll like that joke that are in New York right now. Oh, my friend, I had a good time.
I had a great time, Scott.
Did you really?
Good luck. Yeah, absolutely,
Oh,
man. You're
man,
a great
thank you.
interviewer, dude. You know what you're doing.
Thank you. Well, I try to.
Cracker Barrel is renovating their stores. I don't know, or their restaurants. I don't know if you know that. They want to attract a more younger audience. And they should start by getting rid of the rocking chairs on the front. That would be a good start. You know, when I walk up to get some eggs, I've got the cast of On Golden Pond on the front porch. It's not really attracting the younger audience. And get rid of that store that you got to walk through to get to your table. Now get rid of it. It looks like the world's biggest drunk drawer. It's horrible. No, they want to attract a younger audience. They got to make that a strip club. That's what they got to make that. Get a lap dance before you go get some biscuits and gravy.